There's a strange feeling a lot of people carry now. It feels like living out of a suitcase, even when you haven't gone anywhere. Homes feel temporary, jobs feel temporary, cities feel temporary, even relationships sometimes feel temporary. You don't fully unpack, you don't fully settle, you don't even fully relax. Because something in the back of your mind whispers, don't get too comfortable. This episode is about that feeling, why nothing feels permanent anymore, and what that does to the way people live. For most modern history, adulthood was about locking things in. You picked a place, you picked a job, you built a routine, you put down your roots. Performance wasn't boring, it was rewarded. It meant safety, it meant predictability, it meant you could plan beyond just next month. Life had chapters, and chapters carried weight. Then the world changed its values. Flexibility became a virtue, mobility became a selling point, adaptability became survival. Don't get stuck. Always be ready to pivot. Stay liquid. At first, that sounded empowering, but flexibility without stability turns into fragility. If everything can change at any moment, nothing feels safe enough to invest in. Housing is the clearest example. Short leases, rising rents, unpredictable renewals, corporate landlords, and sudden moves. You don't paint your walls, you don't plant in the garden, you don't imagine yourself there for more than 3 to 5 years. You live around your space, not inside of it. A home that can disappear never fully becomes a home. Work quietly followed that same path. Pensions vanished, long term loyalty stopped being rewarded, layoffs became routine, careers turned into ladders you're expected to keep climbing or fall off. You're encouraged to think of yourself as replaceable and expected to act like you're indispensable. That contradiction eats at people. Why invest your identity in something that can vanish with just an email? Ownership quietly faded. You don't own movies, you don't own music, you don't even own software. Everything is rented, licensed, or just temporary. Even the things meant to bring joy come with expiration dates. When nothing belongs to you, you stop building an emotional attachment. You consume and you quietly move on. This impermanence leaks into human connection. When everything else is unstable, people become cautious. They hedge emotionally. They keep exit strategies. They avoid long term promises. Not because they don't care, but because they've learned how fragile everything is. A world that doesn't commit teaches people not to commit either. Here's the quiet damage. When nothing feels permanent, life feels shallow. Even when it's busy, you're always adjusting, always adapting, and always bracing. You don't feel anchored, you feel suspended. Like a character stuck between zones, waiting for the next loading screen. That constant limbo drains energy and erodes any meaning. This isn't about longing for the past. The past had problems, serious ones, but performance provided something critical, a sense of continuity. Without continuity, identity weakens. You stop asking, who am I becoming? And you start asking, how do I survive the next change? That's not growth, that's just endurance. When performance disappears, people adapt. They avoid commitments, they delay decisions, they keep things light. Not because they want less, but because they've learned how easily things can fall apart. This is defensive living. It looks like apathy from the outside, but it feels like self-protection on the inside. Performance was never about changing. It was about having something solid. Well, things changed around you. A home base, a steady anchor, a place to return to. Games understand this. You explore dangerous zones, but you always have a hearthstone. Modern life removed the hearthstone. If nothing feels permanent anymore, you're not imagining it. You're living in a world that optimizes for flexibility without protecting stability. But humans need roots as much as they need wings. And maybe the next chapter isn't about rejecting change, but rebuilding places, systems, and relationships that are allowed to last. Because performance isn't stagnation, it's the soil where real growth happens. Remember, stay thoughtful, stay stubborn, and don't mistake survival mode for the way life is supposed to feel.